This book simultaneously made me mad and I was happy at the same damn time. It's a great story. I just don't like the direction that they're going in when they're trying to end this whole Krakoan era. Jed McKay and Ryan Stegman are the ones who are taking over once this whole thing is wrapped up and done. Are you guys the ones who are doing this or calling these shots that are happening right now? You know what? We'll talk about this at the end. My name is Dorian. This is SCM Comics. We are continuing our coverage of the Fall House of X with X-Men Forever #3. So the story starts off with Cipher, the real Cipher, not the sinister clone Cipher. See, the real Cipher has been missing for a long time. I believe Krakoa snatched him up in Immortal X-Men #13, which, to give you kind of real-time perspective, that was like the summer of 2023. You see, Krakoa sensed something was coming, so he wanted to keep safe the only person that can really talk to him. So he snatched him up, put him in hibernation, and then all the craziness happened. So he fills him in on Orcus. Well, technically he already knew about Orcus, but he fills him in on what happened at the Hellfire Gala, and then the war that was going on as far as that goes, and then how Orcus and all the humans are pretty much have been disposed of, but now they're going to war with the AI. So fills him in on everything. So Sam's like, are we safe? And the Krakoa lets him out, and he goes, not exactly. As we see the war going on the Pacific side of Krakoa. So now we cut to Shaw Industries, where Sebastian Shaw is walking with his assistant. And he goes, Emma, you listening? I'm thinking of you in your underwear right now. And it was pretty much to get her attention. And she's so used to it, she goes, Shaw, what do you want? I'm busy right now. He goes, firstly, I think my assistant's an AI. She's been upgraded, so she might be able to detect mental detection. And sure enough, her left arm turns into a gun and she goes, unclear, telepathic contact detected. So as he is getting shot, he's explaining how he never truly trusted the AIs. So he paid some hacker to make like a backdoor program that he installed in the Sentinels that work regarding Krakoa. So all they gotta do is say some kind of binary phrase and they'll shut down. So he's like, I'm thinking it now. Pass it along to Doug. Now, I was reading this. I'm like, hold on, time out. You were there when Doug got swallowed. How you know that Doug is even out? But, you know, semantics. So then we cut back to the island and Sinister is like guns, guns, and more guns fresh off the vine. He's like taking them from like a plant that's growing on Krakoa. I'm like, what? Now you're going to ask. But this thing's like, doesn't matter. I'm back in the time stream. I can see the future again. There's no way we can win. So Exodus comes down and he's like, if you keep talking that mess, I'll destroy you myself. And by the way, this dude said I couldn't say Exodus. It was about 1.5 years ago and I probably was saying it wrong, but hey, I've improved. There you go. So back to the story. So Emma telepathically passes the binary phrase to Doug. Now, for those of you guys that don't know who Doug Ramsey is, who is Cipher, he can speak any language. Any language. Even alien, and also to binary, which is pretty much talking to computers, or in this case, Sentinels. So then Doug gets the Sentinels' attention and he says the phrase and nothing happens. So then Exodus is like, you know what, I think Shaw's playing for fools. Let me go ahead. And then Doug's like, hold on, wait a minute, my bad. Let me say it again. And he says it again, and then the Sentinels just shut down. And then he's like, yeah, I mispronounced one of the O's. Zeros, I meant to say zero, not a O, a zero. So then Exodus wastes no time and knocks the hell out one of the Sentinels. Finally, we see Destiny. She has a gun. She's firing. Doug's like, look, I think we're going to win this one. And then Destiny's like, winning a fight's one thing. Winning a war is something totally different. So then we cut back to Shaw Industries, and Shaw is running for his life. He's running to a vault, trying to get away from his assistant AI. And Emma's like, well, that worked. I appreciate it. And then Shaw's like, oh, I know it did. Also, too, I'm kind of pissed because you went to Fist to hold your money instead of coming to me. And Emma's like, but I thought you betrayed us. And he goes, oh, no, I did. I betrayed you guys. But I'm a smart businessman. I like to keep my options open. As he is going to his vault and he has a serum to give him back his mutant powers. So some of you guys are probably sitting there like, what do you mean get his powers back? One of his conditions when he first betrayed Krakoa was that he also had to give up his mutant powers, which he did. But like he said, he's a smart businessman. He always had a plan to get him back just in case. So, and this is just in case. Now we cut to the white hot room. You got Hope, who's chasing after the Phoenix, and good luck catching that. And you got Jean that's talking to Hope telepathically. Either the Phoenix is in Jean is in the Phoenix. It looks like right now Jean's in the Phoenix. Anyway, Jean is keeping tabs on the Phoenix, and the Phoenix is scared and doesn't want to, I guess, be destroyed or die. And then Hope is like, well, this was Rachel's plan, and she thought it was going to be one step, but it looks like it's going to be multiple steps. I'm going to need something. So she goes to the mutants that got left behind that's still on the Atlantic side of Krakoa that's in the White Hot Room. And it's like, okay, I need you guys to help me out. Pretty much she starts tapping on the wood or the roots of Krakoa, and she's putting in like a SOS or a Morse code so she can talk to the Pacific side of Krakoa. And who just happens to receive that SOS? It's Cipher. Like, a lot of these things are going down because Cipher is out of Krakoa, which Krakoa just spit him out. So again, semantics. So Cipher tells Rachel pretty much talks to Emma, says we need Manifold. Manifold pops up like that and says, hey, what's up? Rachel fills him in on what's going on, and then Destiny pops up and was like, hey, can you get Nightcrawler? So all of a sudden Nightcrawler pops up, and then she goes, I'm sorry, and then all of a sudden all you hear is mother. It's Mystique. So Mystique came out that portal busting shots. I mean, Mystique is the closest thing to a gangster you're gonna ever meet in Marvel Comics. I mean, she don't give two shits who you are. She will shoot you on sight if you piss her off. So she's like, you knew. You wrote it down in code in that stupid book of yours. So she goes, I got a prophecy for you. I'm gonna punch holes in that stupid little, and then Kurt comes out of nowhere and uses his powers and takes away Mystique's guns from her. So Kurt's like, this is not the family reunion I pictured. Speak fast, Irene, and I'll try to stop her from killing you. So now I'll try to break everything down. Try. This was explained way back when. It's not too long ago, but unfortunately we didn't cover on the channel because there's too many things to cover in X-Men. There's too many X-books. Too many. But I believe this story was like Origins of Nightcrawler, I think. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what it was. And in a nutshell, Destiny saw a reality where Azazel pretty much takes over and kills like a whole bunch of the superheroes. So to try to prevent that, her Mystique had Nightcrawler. Mystique can pretty much turn into a man and have all the working parts of a man. Got Destiny pregnant. Destiny had Nightcrawler, and then she had Professor Xavier pretty much wipe the memory of Nightcrawler from her and Mystique. So that's why we've been going for years now not knowing that Destiny was Nightcrawler's mom. Like, for some reason we always thought that Mystique was Nightcrawler's mother, but actually Mystique's Nightcrawler's father. And the reason why she had Mystique's memory wiped is because somehow, some way, if she knew, then that would have resulted in her in dying. Like, this is what Destiny does. The whole reason why it says a sinister happened is because that's the timeline that Mystique lived the longest. So, like, Destiny's always doing this to Mystique, and Mystique can't stand it. So Mystique wants to know where Professor Xavier is at so he can put the memories back in her head. Destiny doesn't want to tell her. Mystique's like, you know what? Forget you. I'll find it myself. And pretty much storms off. Destiny's like, wait, hold on, you don't understand. And then Kurtz is standing there, and Exodus is like, I'm sorry, Kurt, but you gotta come with us now. So pretty much they want Manifold to use his powers to like open up a wormhole to the White Hot Room, which is difficult for him because the White Hot Room is outside of space and time. So it's not just like teleporting from one place to the universe to the other. It's a little bit more difficult, and it's a lot more dangerous to teleport there, but he's going to try. Now the reason they're doing this is because they want to give Nightcrawler's sword to Hope, and then Exodus asks if he can go ahead and take that sword to Hope, you know, because he wants to see Hope one more time. And Nightcrawler's like, dude, you ain't say nothing but a word. So now Exodus and Hope are kind of like in the wormhole. Exodus is like, hey, let someone else do this. Just come with me. And Hope's like, don't make it as hard than what it already is. Just please give me the sword. Besides, finally doing Messiah stuff. So Exodus hands her the sword, and he goes, is there anything else? And she goes, my dad, tell him he was always there for me. I never knew my parents, but he was always there. So then out of nowhere, Cable shows up and she goes, I knew he'd come to say goodbye. He waves and she goes, I love you. And then the wormhole closes. So she starts talking to the sword because it's alive. And then the sword's like, can't get nothing past you, lass. I'm David Holler. I'm Legion. I'm like, what in the hell? This dude disappeared a long time ago. A good year ago. It was right after Sons of Sinister. And he disappeared, I guess, in plain sight because he's been Nightcrawler's sword ever since. So Hope's like, swords are more Exodus speed. Can you transfer into something that I can use? And he's like, I got you. And transforms into this big ass gun. And she goes, perfect. Now, for those of you who don't know who Legion is, he is Professor Xavier's son. And he has multiple personalities, and all the personalities have mutant abilities. A lot of them are like Omega level when it comes to their power. So you have an Omega level mutant wielding another Omega level mutant as a weapon. Yeah, this might be able to take down the Phoenix. So Jean's talking to Hope, and she's like, look, I might be able to slow down the Phoenix, but it's going to be up to you to actually do what you need to do. And then Legion's like, you look a bit nervous. And Hope's like, nah, I'm fine. I got a big, huge gun, and I'm hunting down a big, dumb bird. Just call me Daddy's girl. So now this book ends with Enigma talking to the other Dominions. And pretty much is like, yeah, they're trying to bring back the Phoenix, and they're doing it in the White Hot Room, which unfortunately we have no access to. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. And then we cut to Alaska. See, Hope was born in Alaska, and we see this woman. She's got like dirt in her face. She's probably a coal miner. This is Hope's mother, and she's like, I'm not pregnant. And all of a sudden we see Enigma, and he goes, you're not yet. But let's talk about that. Normally this is where I would end the video. Like, it's done, over with. You know, you guys can move on with your day. But come on, man. I know you're not going to Matthew Malloy Hope. Like, please tell me you're not going to do that. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Matthew Malloy, it was a one-shot comic. Eventually we're going to cover on the channel, but I think Rob covered it twice. Matthew Malloy was this super overpowered mutant. All right, long story short, Professor Xavier got killed by Scott, and when he died, he pretty much met this mutant way back in the day that was so powerful, he was like, hey, nothing I can do about this. And he put a mental block so that he would never be able to access his power. Well, once Professor Xavier died, those mental blocks went bye-bye. And he was a whole problem. I mean, a whole problem. Like, no Galactus and Lord of God Butcher ain't got nothing on this dude. I mean, they blew him up with nukes, and he just sprung himself back. Like, he was so powerful that they had to pretty much go back in time and make sure his parents never met. That's how they beat this dude. And I hope they don't do this to Hope. Like, it's bad enough you about to put Professor Xavier, he's about to be Prisoner X somewhere, and we're probably not going to hear from him until we start the next X run or something like that. But now you're going to get rid of Hope. Like, don't do this. Don't get rid of Hope. Please, don't get rid of Hope. Love Hope. Don't get rid of her. Please.